really welcome here. I know the situation is not the best, but we can receive some people and take care of them, of course. And it is amazing when people want to come and visit our communities, especially in the natural areas, no? In the protected areas like this that I will talk to you today. Well, my presentation will be focused on the Kamarata community local development projects that I'm leading in this moment in a national park. The name is the Canaima National Park. And there is an overlapping with Pemon Indigenous people lands. That's why it's a very important case of study, no? I divided the presentation in these 6 parts, but we can go quickly through all of them and stay for more time in the more important, like I will try to explain where is the sector 2 Kamarata Canaimo in the Kamarata Valley and where it is and our main program and the projects we are working on in this moment. Also with some main current actions and some conclusions that we have at this moment. Well, who are we? We are a very big transdisciplinary professionals working together. But the most important is we made the Camaracotos our extended family. So we have been working with them for too long. I personally have 10 years going to the community and working with them in some projects. But the organizations where I'm working with have presence there since more or less 20 years. So the community knows of all of us very well, and we have a very familiar relationship. The main objective is to work together for the local development in this valley, where are more or less 12 communities at this moment. And we are working for the conservation and preservation of the culture and natural values for the next generations. Here I would like to present how we are working with some important alliances. We are working with the community, represented by the captains of each one of them. I am a professor, or I didn't present myself, but I am a professor and researcher at the Universidad del Zulia. That's why I started to work in this community, thanks to Angel Conservation Corporation. There is an NGO, an American NGO, but also with all this kind of map, we are trying to get a strong support to the community from the professionals who are interested in help and support them to conserve their culture and to try to implement some educational program to support all the local development in the valley. Well, that's why we have the community, we have universities, and also we have this part of non-governmental organization where are 5 NGO in this moment that we are working together to support each other, because go to this community, get there is very complicated and expensive, because everything goes there by plane. We don't have another way to go there. The Indigenous maybe can go through the jungle, but we have to go by plane. We don't have another way. So these organizations we have been working together since more or less 10 years, supporting each other and also crossing our programs, because our objective in the end is more or less the same. Angel Conservation Corporation and Fundación Étnica are working with an educational program and a cultural and ecotourism program, but the Jimmy Angel Historical Project is focusing in preserving all the documents and information about the explorers who went to the valley many years ago, as Jimmy Angel, who was an American pilot who saw for the first time and registered the first time the most tallest waterfall that we have. And it is the most waterfall in the most tallest waterfall in the world. That is called Angel Falls, that we have here in this part of the national park. Then ALAS and Fundación Maniapure are focusing their work in health. They are supporting doctors to go to these faraway communities to support the health system with some attention and some medical assistance there. And recently, well, more or less 3 years ago, we get the support of a project of the GEF Small Grant Program. So we are working with this map of alliances at the moment. And of course, in the community, we have the support of all the captains from the different communities. Here you can see the map of Venezuela. This is the map of Venezuela, and the Bolivar state is this one here. And this shape in green is the Canaima National Park. In the other side of the screen, you can see the Canaima National Park divided into sectors, the western and the eastern sector that respond to the natural conditions and landscape. And it is related to the management too. Because the differences between the ways to get there, because to the western sector, you have to go by plane, but to the eastern sector, you can go by road, so you can go by car. So we are working here. This shape is the Aullante Puy. In the center is the Angel Falls. And in the south, in this shape with a orange color, you can see the communities that conform the valley, or the Kamarata Valley. In the north, there is some communities, but this is the most touristic area. There is the Canaima Lagoon, so all the tourists have to go there and just visit the Canaima Lagoon and the Angel Falls. No many tourists usually goes to the Kamarata Valley because it's more expensive, and it's the place where the communities are living. So it's more their house, I think. Here you can see how the people, the Pemon people divide their territory in 8 sectors. We are working in the sector 2, I'm sorry, it's the sector 2 that correspond, the shape more or less correspond with this part in the overlapping area with the Canaima National Park. So we are working in this place that is the Pemon people land, but also is a national park. Here you can see, well, the sector 2, Kamarata Canaimo, there is a name, have 18 communities. In all the sector are 18 communities, and in the Kamarata Valley we have 12 communities. And we are based on the Kamarata community. That is the center for all of them. Is the biggest community where there are 3,000, more or less 3,000 inhabitants, of which 1,100 are students between 5 and 16 years old. But unfortunately, the children are gradually losing their culture and heritage. And that's why we think education is the key, because we have to support this new generation to conserve and preserve their culture and their land also. I would like to show you some natural values. This is the Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall in the world, and is there in the middle of the Tepuy. This is a view from the river of the Aullante Puy. And this is a view of the Canaima Lagoon, this more touristic place that many people usually know. But also we have these other natural values in the valley. All of these are in the south of the Aullante Puy. There are canyons in the walls of the Avllante-Puy. You can visit these places, of course, with a guide from this community. Here you can see the Pemon Canyon, the Cabac Canyon, and Jurwan Canyon also. All this area have a very rich endemic biodiversity, as you can see in this screen. And the most important is there is an allied culture. We can interact with these people there, and they are very open to show you all the traditions and their ways to live. Here, for example, we arrived there and they were having a communal meeting, and we were invited without issue. And this couple bring us to their conuco. The conuco is like a traditional farm where they usually may grow their food. And this group of kids were there playing in the river. No? It was very amazing being there. And this is a kind of this is part of this allied culture, because they are really they preserve their traditional songs and dance, and they are teaching that to the new generation, even from the school. And the most important is also they keep alive their language, because the kids start learning in their own language. But of course, we have a very big issue here, and that is the gold, coltan, and diamond mines. We are having this kind of situation there, and it is so sad to see how the government is making a big. They need the gold because now we don't have petroleum, so they now are looking for gold everywhere, and they are making that many people from these these communities go there and keep extracting gold to survive. They usually have some support from the many government programs, even for food or for education, and now they are like in an abandoned situation. And that's why they have to go to mines to get some things from the cities. For example, if they need to go to see a doctor in the city because they need a very big attention for a big problem or whatever, they have to pay in gold. So all the people have to have access to the gold to get primary services, basic services. No? That part is very sad. But since 2006, Angel Conservation Corporation started with a program called Kamarata that includes three principal projects. The first one is cultural identity. And in that moment, they don't know in that moment how to start with this. All the ideas were evolving with the time and with the work together with the community. But the first project was cultural identity, because it's very necessary and important to conserve and preserve the cultural legacy for future generations. Then this program identified a sustainable development plan for ecotourism was needed, because tourism was the mainly economical activity there to survive and to get some money for these communities to have services from the cities and to can exchange or to have some opportunities out of the indigenous community. And the third part was the telemedicine. Angel Conservation Corporation started a program of telemedicine that now is in charge of Fundación Manapure and Alas para la Salud, those foundations that I mentioned before. Well, we are trying to work integrating the dimensions of sustainable and human development development, because within we believe that the people need to be well to wear and offer more to be okay and to work together beyond their conditions. So we're working in these 4 dimensions to integrate them in everything we do with them. And also we are responding to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And our main current action in this moment is to build the Kamarata Cultural Center. That is the first space for culture and the first space to exchange experiences between the indigenous community and the people from outside. So this building will be a space to support the community's efforts to preserve their culture, but also to motivate the development of personal potential, especially from children and the youth. Support their bilingual education that they have, but we want to support that. We are helping them to preserve the Pemon language, because it's a minority language, and they also learn this language by an oral tradition. Also to promote leisure and entertainment activities to guarantee the rights of children, youth, and communities in the conservation of the cultural values, of course. To promote inclusion, participation, and leadership, because within they need to support, to encourage them to participate and protect their culture. And also we are promoting communication between the communities, because they are across the valley, but they usually need to gather to exchange some experiences between them. And this community wants to be like a host for other communities. We are supporting the health system, because we have some equipment to support the telemedicine as the sustainable power, energy, and internet connection. We have a solar panel system there. We recently made this work again. And now we have that because they don't have electricity. Of course, they need to have a system. They have electricity because they have, I don't know the name in Spanish, but in English, but it's a represa, it's a hydric system. And now we have this panel system to support their activities in health and also for education and communication. Because the other thing is they have some, they have a telephone, they have a signal for telephone, but the government could their signal when they want. And now we have an internet connection, a private internet connection to keep in contact with them and keep working together, even in this condition that we can't go there for all this reason, no? We are promoting good practices to reduce climate change impact, and we are working in the construction of a museum with a permanent exhibition where they can showcase the Pemon culture and the history too. Here you can see a view of the community. It's a small community with more or less are 4 blocks, only 4 blocks here, and a Spanish mission center where it is a school. And in this hill, you can see this building that were a school. And now the community decided to use this as the cultural center. Here's another view, or some view from of the building. And working together, they decided to construct and build a churuata, a traditional churuata, because they are trying to give a sense of the architecture to this building, and even to correspond with the use now. But this was decided by the popular constructors in the community. And they decided to do it by themselves. We support with some money to look for some materials, but all the work was done by them. Now looks like this. The cultural center looks like this. This traditional churrata will be the museum, but also we will have an info center here, and we already have the equipment, some computers and the solar panel system there. It was hard to get there and bring all the materials and equipment, but we already did this. And we have this project with them working in this moment to finish the interior design of the museum and an office, and also the info center, and a small one, but it's a very important to have a place where people can be connected, receiving even education or many programs from the city, not wherever in the world. In this pandemic time, we have been working in this book. We have the project since 2017. But with the pandemic, and because one of them went to the city and never came back to the community because of the pandemic, we keep in touch. We work together in this book that now we have finished and printed, but we have to, well, with the support of a university in Spain. And in this moment, we are waiting to go to the community to present the book there first. That's why it's not in the website. There are inboxes here in my house, because we want to go to the community to present the book there with them, because the author of the book is from there. And it will be very special and important for the rest of the people to see how a very long project finally get done. And they can identify how they can participate in some projects like this. And after that, we have to go to Spain and present the book there and launch the book, even an online version, to try to get some financial support also to keep supporting the cultural project. And also, we have this experience between 2017 and 2019. From the university, we support a program of workshops to introduce vegetables in the conucos, and to try to cultivate this kind of vegetable to increase and to improve their diet, because their principal food usually comes from the cities, and now they only have what they have in the conucos. So we are working in this, and in this moment we are evolving this project to expand to other communities, small communities in the valley, but it's a work in progress. In this moment, we went there, make some workshop with teachers at the school, and then they decided how to evolve the program and work with all the parents and children in this school. And it was it was very interesting to see how the program can evolve with their own ideas and resources also, and with the participation of parents and children. Well, as conclusion for now, we think the most important is we are enjoying success because the community is involved and they are leading the project. And because we are far away and we can go there many times a year, they finally understand that they have this project in their hands, and they understand the benefit that they can receive from this project for them and for the culture. And the most important, or the other part important, is to keep working hard with them, find financial support out of the country to maintain professional support to develop and evolve this first cultural center, For the Pemon people in Venezuela, I don't know if Pemon people, I don't know really if Pemon people in Guyana or Brazil have a similar project. We know other projects like this from other indigenous communities, but I don't know about the Pemon people really. But they have to, or we want to maintain this project independent of the government to avoid pressures to stop its progress, because as I commented before, this government, they don't really want to offer opportunities and education for people. They prefer to have people working for them. And in this part of our country, they prefer to obligate indigenous people to go to the gold mines. So we are convinced of that. So, and working as a team, we believe we can achieve great thing, and we are see how this project evolve and how this project can be in the future. So I think that is all, and thank you so much for your time and for this opportunity, Sue, and all of you for being there.
Thank you. That was really, really interesting. I've got a few questions, but I'm going to open it up first to the others. Does anyone have any questions, comments, feedback, inputs, anything?
Yeah, I can go to the part that you want to explain better, and yes, I'm open to all your comments and curiosity.
See, can I comment?
I think Janina was about to talk, so if you wouldn't mind. No,
oh yeah, I can wait.
Sorry, yeah, and then you straight afterwards. We can't hear, I can't hear you, Janina, I'm not sure. Can anyone else hear her?
No, I can.
No. I could hear you earlier.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Yes.
Good. So first question is regarding the community village location. I was wondering if they are living where they have been living historically, or have these communities been relocated in some recent future?
Oh yeah, they were relocated because when, let me go to the picture, because it is an interesting question here. Yeah, they were relocated when the government decided that they needed some religious education, and they bring then a group of Capuchin monks, and they started this program there since 1950, more or less. And they just started that program from the government with the Capuchins, priest is the word, I think. They just started in the other sector of the park first, because the access. So they just started here in this part, near of Roraima also, and the border with Brazil is in this part. But then some of these Spanish priests went to Kamarata to explore the land and find these kind of communities and this amazing place near of the Llantepui with a great view, and they just started the program there. And they just started this point like an important point to gather the communities around. So thanks. Now that is why that is the center. This community is the center of services for the others community. But most of them, and most in this moment with the pandemic situation, most of them are going out of this principal community to the forest to look for food and to have their conucos also, their farms. Thank you, Janina.
We can't hear you again. Oh, I can't, yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you very much for your response. And I have one more question. And the second question is, I would like to know a little bit more about who are the visitors who are coming to this area? Are they, yeah. And do you receive any visitors? How it's going in these days?
Yeah, there is a sad part because when I started to work with these NGOs there, the principal visitors were people from America and Europe also, but most of them were coming from America, from the USA. And because our government decided that Americans need a visa to come here, that visitors stopped in that moment. Now we started to receive more other other people from all part of the world, but of course a few people, and more Venezuelans ones too. And in this moment, the sad part is that I think the people who can't pay to go there are people close to the government, and they aren't the best, how can I say this? They are not the best visitors that we can expect, because they are not really, not all of them, but many of them are people with money, the new rich that we say now, because they are close of the government, and many of them are, well, some years ago, most the visitors were Venezuelans living out of the Venezuela, who could pay for that kind of trip because it's very expensive. But now that can be a part of the visitors, but most of the people going to the Canaima National Park in this moment is people close to the government, and that is so sad. And well, many explorers and people who like adventures, of course, to make treks to the top of the Tepuy and how is the name, Salto Base. Well, many adventures, activities in nature. And these people, these indigenous people, are very well prepared, because when tourism started there, they had a very good training courses. And now you can find people there who speak not only Pemon, also Spanish, because they learn Spanish at the school too. But they, you can find people who speak English, of course, and maybe because some of them are from Guyana, for example, and some of them went there to visit their Pemon people, Pemon family, and decided to keep living there. And also one of them or two of them speak German, for example, because they have an ability to learn languages too. And they are very clever, and they are very good guides. And conscious,
Thanks.
They are very conscious too.
Thanks, Marianela.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gina, for the questions. Now, how would you like to ask your question or comment?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Marianela, for this wonderful presentation. It's a nice insight that, you know, something of this kind is happening in your country. Thanks for the presentation. In fact, I had 3 questions in my mind. One question has already been addressed, which was related to the type of visitors who are coming there and what are their expectations. You had already addressed that. The other 2 questions that I have, number one, you know, I understand this project site happens to be inside a national park, which is being administered by the state forest department or the national forest department, which may be the case. I would like to understand what is their role in developing, you know, such initiative. Are they, you know, actively participating in this process because they feel that by this process, some benefit in terms of their conservation goals can be met? That's my question number one. The second question is with respect to, in the longer term, have we thought about an institutional mechanism? Because once this support that the community is currently enjoying from universities and other institutions goes out, do they have any plans of continuing with this through their own institutional mechanism or not? These are two questions that I have.
Okay, thank you, Nahar. Very, very interesting questions. The first one, it is about the governmental management participation. Of course, we have an institute to manage the national park, but because it is a Pemon people land, we decided to submit all the activities and all the decisions through them. Because if we go directly to the governmental institutions, I'm sure we may not able to keep supporting the community in this kind of projects. So we give that responsibility to the community. That's why we have been expended a lot of time in this project, because we started to work with them from their life plan. They made a life plan, and they consider this project in that plan, and that corresponds with the agreements between the community with the institution from the government who manage the national park, and they are in agreement. And that's why we are supporting the project also. But we don't have a real participation of the people from this Office of Management, because we submit everything through the community. So we try to get everything together, and the community will present and get the permissions on or the documents that they need to keep working in these kind of projects. That is the one, and I hope I responded the question. But work like that because we start like an American NGO. I'm sure we never have, or we never received the approve from the government, even to support the people there. So we started Fundación Étnica, that is like a sister of Angel Conservation Corporation, that is American, but we have Fundación Étnica now, that is a Venezuelan NGO with Pemon people like advisors, and participating in the board directors to create an agreements between us and to submit to this office, this governmental office of management, so that we don't have problems in that side. And the other question was, yeah, I don't really remember the second one.
About
long-term. So the second question was, the long-term. Have you thought about institutional mechanism where the community will form a committee or something like that, which will move forward?
Yeah, when we started to support the idea to build this cultural center, I personally had the thought of they of course needed the support of the government, but because we are in this hard situation with the government, we don't have, as I mentioned it in one of my emails, and we don't have to see politicians investing the gold mine money to support the project, or we don't have this project like a red building, because this government go there and paint everything with red and put a name and said, we have a new cultural center for this community. And because we don't have that, we decided to work in silence, more or less in silence with the community, build the idea, and fortunately, we started with the teachers who lead the plan life that they made with the Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo, Development Inter-American Bank. Yeah, well, with the teachers who started the educational program are four women who are leading the idea from the beginning with the community, in front of the community. They support the idea, they lead the process, and now, just right now, we recently made that they had a meeting to decide the new structure for the center, and they are building that part in this moment. They gather the people involved in the community without us, because all of us are or in Caracas or Maracaibo, where I am, other people are in Spain, and many people are around the world, and they don't have really good, well, they don't have decisions about how to use the internet that they have now. So they decided to have that meeting between them, only between them. And we suggest to consider all the people involved. They decided on a structure for a board, something like a board directors of the project. And because the missional center is supporting the project, giving them the permission to use this space, there is a space from that center, that missional center, they consider to include the professor of the school as the director. And so we will have a director, a Pemon director. This director will have the support of coordinators of each program. And for now, we have this kind of structure, and they are working together in a plan of action to finish the physical intervention of the building, to start using the spaces with the program. But at the same time, the teachers are working in the program. They are working even with a cultural group of young people, and they are planning how to use each space in the building. Also, if you see in the building, we have many rooms, different rooms, that they will have a program, a different program inside. Each one will be for a different program inside here. For now, we only are using this part of the building because it's very big, and we get the money to condition in this part of the building, those here also, and the museum. After that, we will have to do the same with all of these areas, and those of rooms will be for different programs. For example, aircraft or dances and singing, or this kind of, there is another for conservation supported by another foundation that the name is BioCryptus. We are trying to build a model independent from the government, because we don't have, as I mentioned before, we don't have that kind of support with that kind of bad energy from the money from gold, or to give the idea of the community and the young people that the only way to do things in this community is to go into the gold mine. I don't know if I respond, but.
No, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've just got 3 minutes left. I don't know if there are any other pressing questions. I actually just more wanted to make a comment on, just because I'm very involved in wildlife economy activities now and diversification, and obviously with tourism, just the issues, whether you've considered, and you don't need to respond just because we don't have time, but just, you know, biotrade. So in Africa now, that's a big thing, using indigenous resources and plants and selling them depending on their uses. So using the traditional knowledge and then registering these products so that the communities can make money from them. So there are examples where people came and took resources and made millions from them, and now Kenya is getting policy and legislation to maintain that. But obviously I know in Venezuela that would be hard. But also like non-timber forest products, so making a living from that. And then a big thing for me, because it's a cultural center, would be storytelling. So in Africa, there's some projects that I was involved in my previous job, trying to get adults to tell stories to the youth about, you know, traditional knowledge and the culture. So I was thinking, when you showed this picture, like one of those rooms would be a lovely place to bring the community together to maintain those stories, because I think certainly in Africa, a lot of those cultural stories are being lost, and that would be, you know, for the community itself, but then also for tourists in the long run. But for me, this is more about maintaining, you know, the culture internally. But thank you, yeah, so much. Really fascinating. I don't know, does anyone else have a question? I mean, if you're happy to stay on a minute or two more, everyone, we can take a comment or question more.
Thank you. Well, yeah, so I would like to say that even we are considering to have that kind of program for medicine, traditional medicine, because they have some shamans even right now. And all of that is included in this plan that we are evolving in this moment. And we are looking for support for each program. The idea is to have each room of this, like independent programs as part of a cultural center, but with individual support, maybe, no? And that is more or less the model. We are working on this because we want to avoid the support of the government for all the issues in this moment.
No, you've done amazing. Yeah, excellent. I mean, that's what you've already developed there. Looks fantastic, and the book is exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I will send you the book when we have the electronic version, because it's very special. It is, in this moment, it is in Pemon and Spanish, but because the university who support the project is a Catalan one, they are translating into Catalan, and after we will translate it in English too. So it is really amazing. And a student from a university did the illustration of with pictures and drawings from the people from the community, and that is why it's very special too. And is to teach the children to sign their own songs and dance. So it's pretty special.
No, that is beautiful. No, thank you so much, and thank you again, for offering to present and for a fantastic presentation. And thank you to everyone for joining and for your great questions. And yeah, I will share the link to the video with everyone once I've uploaded it, as well as the minutes and the update that I mentioned earlier on the communities report that I'll get from Kelly and Jackie. But yeah, again, if anyone wants to send through ideas of other presentations or present, and as I said, it doesn't have to be formal, it can just be a chat or discussion, so please do so. Thank you again, Marianela, and have a good day, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.